Solid waste management. Solid waste management is a term that is used to refer to the process of collecting and treating solid waste. It is also offers solution for recycling items that do not belong to garbage or trash. As long as people have been living in settlements and residential areas, garbage or solid waste management has been an issue. So yung solid waste management, ito yung process ng pag-collect ng mga waste kung saan pinag-iiwalay nila yung mga patapon na at yung mga pwede pang i-recycle. So, doon naman tayo sa objective ng solid waste management. So, the primary goal of solid waste management is to reducing and eliminating adverse impacts of waste materials on human health and the environment to support economic development and superior quality of life. This is to be done in the most efficient manner possible to keep costs low and to prevent waste buildup. Benefits of recycling. So, merong mga benefits yung pag-recycle. So, first is reduce the size of landfills. One of the biggest reasons why recycling has been promoted is that is done reduce the strain our environment, conserve natural resources, more employment opportunities, offer cash benefits, saves money, reduce greenhouse gas emissions, save energy, stimulate the use of greener technologies. And then, ito naman yung mga recyclable materials. So, first is yung glossy magazines and ads, cardboard, paperboard, plastic drink bottles, plastic products bottles, aluminum cans, milk cartons, plastic water bottles, empty ice cream container, empty roll-on deodorant bottles, jeans you no longer wear, old clothings, and etc. And yung mga non-recyclable materials naman is yung garbage, food waste, food-tainted items such as used paper, plates or boxes, paper towels or paper napkins, ceramic and kitchenwares, windows and mirrors, plastic wrap, packing peanuts and bubble wrap, wax boxes. So there are 6 stages of the waste management system. So yung first is waste generation. Waste for residential and commercial activities can be used to estimate the impact of new development on the local waste stream. And yung second is on-site handling, storage, and processing. Refers to the activities associated with the handling of solid waste until they are placed in the containers used to their storage before collection. It must isolate the waste from the environment to prevent health hazards. And then yung third is waste collection. Also includes the curbside collection of recyclable materials that technically are not waste as part of municipal landfill diversion program. The next is yung waste transfer and transport. These are the activities involved in moving waste from the local waste collection location to the regional waste disposal site is large waste transport. And then, pang number 5 is yung recycling. It's the recovery and reuse of materials from waste. Solid waste recycling refers to the reuse of manufactured goods from which resources such as steel, copper, or plastic can be recovered and reused. And then lastly is yung disposal. Solid waste is disposal sites ranging from the open dumps to sanitary landfills such as cannot be considered a sustainable option for waste management. So next is global warming and climate change. So what are the causes of global warming? So first is yung fossil fuels. The massive use of fossil fuels is obviously the first source of global warming, as burning coal, oil gas produce carbon dioxide, the most important greenhouse gas in the atmosphere, as well as nitrous oxide. And next is deforestation. The exploitation of forests has a major role in climate change. Trees help regulate the climate by absorbing CO2 from the atmosphere. When they are cut down, this positive effect is lost. The carbon stored in the trees is released into the atmosphere. And then next is yung waste disposal. Waste management methods like landfills and incineration emit greenhouse and toxic gases, including methane, that are released into the atmosphere. Soil and water waste contributing to the increase of the greenhouse effect. Next is intensive farming. So another cause of global warming is intensive farming, not only with the ever increasing livestock but also with the plant protection products and fertilizers. In fact, cattle and sheep produce large amounts of methane with digesting their food. while fertilizers produce nitrous oxide emissions. Next is mining. Modern life is highly dependent on the mining and metallurgical industry. Metals and minerals are the raw materials used in the construction, transportation, and manufacturing of goods. From extraction to delivery, these markets account for 5% of all greenhouse gas emission. And next is yung overconsumption. Finally, overconsumption also plays a major role in climate change. In fact, it is responsible for the exploitation of natural resources and emission from international freight transport, which both contribute to global warming. So what are the impact of the global warming? So on biodiversity, the increase of temperatures and climate upheavals disturb the ecosystems, modify the condition and cycle of plant reproduction. The scarcity of resources and climate change are changing life habits and migratory cycle of animals. We are already witnessing the disappearance of many species, including endemic species, or conversely the introduction of invasive species that threaten crop and other animals. And next is impact on oceans. Because of global warming, permafrost and ice are melting massively at the poles, increasing the sea level at a rate never known before. In a century, the increases reached 18 cm, including 6 cm in the last 20 years. The worst case scenario is a rise of up to 1 meter by 2100. And then next yung impact on humans. So human beings are not spared by these upheavals, climate change in affecting the global economy. It is already shaking up social, health, and geopolitical balance in many parts of the world. The scarcity of resources like food and energy gives rise to new conflicts. And lastly is yung impact on the weather. For decades now, meteorologists and climatologists around the world have been watching the effect of the global warming on the weather phenomena. And the impact is huge. More droughts and heat waves, more precipitations, more natural disasters like floods, hurricanes, storm and wildfires, frost-free seasons, and etc. So next naman is how to prevent the global warming. So the prevention of global warming is the following. So first is renewable energies. The first way to prevent climate change is to move away from the fossil fuels. What are the alternatives? Renewable energies like solar, wind, biomass, and geothermal. Then next is yung energy and water efficiency energy and water efficiency. Producing clean energy is essential, but reducing our consumption of energy and water by using more efficient devices, example LED light bulbs, innovative shower systems, is less costly and equal important. And then next is sustainable transportation. Promoting public transportation, carpooling, but also electric and hydrogen mobility can definitely help reduce CO2 emissions and thus fight global warming. And lastly, next is sustainable infrastructure. In order to reduce the CO2 emissions from buildings caused by heating, air conditioning, hot water, or lighting, it is necessary both to build new low-energy buildings and to renovate the existing constructions. And then sustainable agriculture and forest management. So encouraging better use of natural resources, stopping massive deforestation, as well as making agriculture greener and more efficient should also be priority. And then lastly, responsible consumption of recycling. Adopting responsible consumption habits is crucial, be it regarding food, particular meat, clothing, cosmetics, or cleaning products. Last but not least, recycling is an absolute necessity for dealing with waste. So our topic now is about flooding. So what are the costs of flooding? So as you can see here, prolonged heavy rainfall, highly accelerated snowmelt, severe winds over water, unusually high tides, tsunamis, deforestation, failure of dams, levees, retention ponds, other structures that retain the water, global warming. So how we will control the flood? So syempre merong mga way para makontrol yung flood. So heto nga yun. Control the water level from building dams. Check dams, embankment, dike, flood walls, sea walls, widening and dredging, diversion canal. Control land use around rivers. Build large floodways and sewers. Flood tunnels. Flood tunnels are component of a flood management system usually found in built-up urban areas where there is no space for surface canals or storms water channels. So ayan yung example sa picture from Tokyo's flood tunnel. Next is yung diversion canal. So the purpose of diversion canal is to lower a water course downstream water level of for water course insufficient local. Generally, this canal must make up for a water course insufficient local conveyance and join together further downstream. Ayan yung example ng mga diversion canal. So river dredging. Dredging is an act of removing silt and other material from the bottom of the bodies of water. As sand and silt washes downstream, sedimentation gradually fill channels and harbors. Ayan yung example ng process ng pag-river dredging. And then yung river widening. River widenings are commonly used in river restoration to allow channel movement within a spatially limited area. So yung seawalls. A seawall is a form of coastal defense constructed where the sea and associated coastal processes impact directly upon the landforms of the coast. The purpose of seawalls is to protect areas of human habitation, conservation, and leisure activities from the action of tides, waves, or tsunamis. So ayan yung example ng mga seawalls. Yung mga pader doon sa may gilid ng sea para kapag ka nagkaroon ng waves ay hindi agad maano dun sa may land. And then next is yung flood walls. A flood wall is a primarily vertical artificial barrier designed to temporarily contain the waters of a river or another waterway which rise to unusual levels during seasonal or extreme weather events. So ayan, para lang din siyang river walls. So next is embankment. A road, railway line or canal is normally raised onto an embankment made of compacted soil to avoid a change in level required by the terrain. The alternative being either to have an unacceptable change in level or detour to follow a contour. Ayan yung example ng embankment. Levees. A levee is a natural or artificial wall that blocks water from going where we don't want it to go. Levees may be used to increase available land for habitation or divert a body of water so that fertile soil of a river or seabed may be used for agriculture. They prevent river from flooding cities in a storm surge. And then next is yung dams. So what are dams? A dam is a structure built across a river or stream to hold back water. People have used different materials to build dams over the centuries. Ancient dam builders used natural materials such as a rock or clay. Modern clay dam builders often use concrete. Man-made dams create artificial lakes called reservoir. So ayun yung example ng dam. Yan yung